First, I want to begin by making something absolutely clear. Armin and Goldie are courageous and intelligent people. They have contributed positively to the Iranian freedom movement, and their voices have helped bring attention, energy, and awareness to the cause. That matters. It should be acknowledged. But respect does not mean immunity from criticism. When someone is wrong or when their judgment is clouded, it has to be addressed, especially when the stakes are this high. The concern here is not their intentions. The concern is their analysis. There seems to be an instinct, perhaps even a reflex, to put a positive spin on developments inside Iran. And that instinct, while understandable in a struggle that needs hope, risks distorting reality. The question we need to ask honestly is this: are Armin and Goldie falling into hopium and copium? Are they, even unintentionally, denying the reality on the ground? They themselves acknowledge that many Iranians are feeling demoralized by the idea of a ceasefire or a so-called peace agreement with the regime. And that concern is valid because what does a ceasefire actually mean in this context? If a ceasefire results in the Islamic Republic consolidating its power, if it gives the regime time and money to rebuild its influence networks, if it allows them to continue paying their enforcers and mercenaries who dominate the streets, then what exactly has been achieved? If the internet remains restricted, if communication is still controlled, and if armed forces loyal to the regime still suppress the population, what good is this peace? A peace that strengthens the oppressor is not peace. It is a pause, a regrouping, a reset. If the job is not finished, then this becomes nothing more than a pruning operation, cutting back the regime temporarily, only for it to grow back stronger, more ruthless, and more prepared. And worse, the regime can spin this as a victory. They can claim survival as success. They can rebuild not just materially, but psychologically. That should concern everyone. We've already seen frustration expressed toward the Artesh, the Iranian military, for not defecting in meaningful numbers to support the people. And that frustration is understandable, because without sufficient defections, without real force on the ground to counterbalance the regime's power, the revolution remains stuck, waiting for a tipping point that may never come on its own. The reality is harsh, but it must be said, the Basij and foreign-backed militias do not respond to goodwill or internal regime tensions alone. They respond to force. There is an argument, one that Armin seems to lean toward, that internal divisions within the regime might eventually lead to collapse. And yes, divisions matter. They can weaken a system, but hope is not a strategy. Internal conflict within the regime is not a guarantee of liberation. These factions may fight each other, yes, but that does not automatically translate into freedom for the Iranian people. In fact, without pressure from below and defections from within the military, those same factions can simply reorganize and continue controlling the population. And if they are given time, resources, and financial breathing room through a ceasefire, their chances of survival only increase. That is the core issue. So this message to Armin and Goldie comes from a place of seriousness, not hostility. Continue supporting the Iranian revolution. Continue using your platforms to amplify the cause. But do not sugarcoat reality when the situation worsens. Do not present setbacks as victories. Do not unintentionally gaslight people who are living through the consequences on the ground. Because clarity matters. If there is a better path forward, it will not be found through optimism alone. It will be found through honesty, through confronting the worst aspects of the situation without flinching. Only by facing reality as it is, not as we wish it to be, can the right decisions be made. And only then can the grip of the regime truly be broken. Javeed Shah.